Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the winners bracket round 5 of the Eternal Tournament Series team tournament that we're doing, a Pillars of Mar team tournament, as the actual name is. We are already in the middle of game 1 between Bobbert Joe on Shimmering Combry against the Fun Wizard on Feln Control.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty interesting matchup. Two relatively slow decks. Oh, wait. No, I'm watching a wrong stream. Okay.
Yeah, we got Shimmering Cumbry in here. We have the Sandstorm Titan in play. Ooh, gonna see a Desert Marshal come down and pick up the silence on the Steward of the Past with a permafrosted Steward of the Past as well, leaving a mostly clear path for Bobbert Joe to start getting in some beatdown damage. So Fun Wizard is going to have to find an answer for the Sandstorm Titan.
Yeah, but it does look like Bobbert's getting very sigil flooded here, so he's going to need to draw some action soon.
Yeah, gonna have to draw the action quickly. We see him he did find a Vera's favorite to take down a Desert Marshal, and he was able to at least establish another Bloodcaster. So he can trade the Titan away now for only one of his units, leading Bobbert Joe to a not fantastic trade on his side.
That is an okay draw, but if the Fun Wizard has a Lightning Storm, it's basically a 6-mana do-nothing.
Yeah, and it's possible the Fun Wizard decided to hold back the Lightning Storm, even though he could have gotten a 3-for-1 there with it, since he is going to be worried in this matchup about cards like Scouting Party. So we'll see if he did decide to sandbag it in his hand right here.
Looks like he's just gonna ultimate.
Yeah, nothing to be found, so the ultimate goes off. Ooh, another Permafrost picked up. Gonna go down, I would assume, on probably the 3/5, because Permafrosting the Bloodcasters doesn't actually stop them from ultimating. And we're going to see a full push for damage here. So Bobbert Joe should push a decent bit of damage here on top of drawing 2 cards.
Yeah, this is a pretty good attack. Just a space in it. See what Fun Wizard drew off that Bloodcaster next turn. But it better be something good, or else this could be the end.
Yeah, let's see what Bobbert Joe's 2 pickups here. A Sigil and a Find the Way, so nothing particularly exciting. He will be able to at least go ahead and drop this Find the Way into play, picking up 2 depleted Sigils. A handful of power, not looking fantastic, but it really comes down to what kind of answers Fun Wizard has managed to amass here, because his board is looking not great right now. Ooh, and a Champion of Cunning with the both influence requirements hit means Fun Wizard's board is actually going to get pretty nasty here. And this Desert Marshal Bobbert Joe picked up isn't even actually good enough to stop this Champion of Cunning due to the Aegis.
All it does is potentially prevent the ultimate from the Bloodcaster if he opts to play it not as an ambush card.
Yeah, he could possibly stop the ultimate of the Bloodcaster here. It also depends on what Fun Wizard picked up. Since he picked up Wisdom of the Elder, is going to opt to forego on the opportunity to use the Bloodcaster, and instead probably going to actually start looking to beat down a little bit in another turn or two. Probably going to go ahead and take it slow for now and let these Champion of Cunning triggers stack up on his low units.
Here we see him break the Aegis in hopes of drawing something. It's a pretty good draw.
Night Chancellor Seraph is a pretty good draw. He will be able to at least activate it next turn, but if Fun Wizard picked up any type of removal right here for the Sandstorm Titan, this could be a huge blowout.
Yeah. Hopefully Bobbert gets a good roll off his Seraph, or it could just be game over if Fun Wizard has removal for it.
Yeah, Bobbert Joe is going to have to be worried about his life total here very quickly, too. These Champion of Cunnings are going to start putting in a lot of work. We see another Seraph getting picked up by Bobbert Joe.
That's a very good draw. That's not a good minion, though.
Yeah, Uhuru Envoy, not the minion you are looking to pick up in this case. Only a 4/4. Pretty sad over here, and we might just see Fun Wizard trying to figure out what he can push in. Still pushing in these big fat Bloodcasters that have been buffed by this Champion of Cunning. And Champion of Cunning putting in an insane amount of work right here, giving Fun Wizard the ability to kind of turn this game around.
Yeah, and here we see the double block. I think Bobbert's only outs here are good rolls off of Seraph or a top deck Shimmer Pack to get rid of those big buffed up minions.
Yeah, we'll see which one he ends up coming across first. Still finding power, so let's see what the pull out of Seraph is. And ooh, Karmic Guardian is pretty good. Don't think that's actually going to be quite strong enough to win him the game, but that will at least help him stall out for a considerable amount.
It also saves him if he. Oh, this could just be game right here. Yep.
Yeah, we see those lightning storm coming down with the Withering Witch, and that will lead to a board wipe, and the Fun Wizard will be able to push in. So Champion of Cunning putting in a lot of work right here for Fun Wizard. That card basically carried the game almost by itself. Needed a couple more units in play to work with it, but providing those huge buffs and forcing a big stall on the board.
Yeah, the card doesn't see much play in constructed for the most part, but in this format where you can't be running Felnscar control, it's the finisher for the Feln control deck.
Yeah, it really is. So team always lucky here. Obviously got Bobbert Joe on the Shimmering Combry list, Board Andrew on the Rakano, and Rubik's Tesseract, who we've also seen a few times now on Stone Scar Burn. On the other side, we have, I believe it is Team NeverHide with the Fun Wizard taking the lead with Felon Control. We have Nawguard on Jito Queen, and we have A. Lamau on Big Combry.
Yeah, this is pretty similar decks for the most part. Shimmering Combray being the exception.
Yeah, and we are going to see the sideboarding. So out of Bobber Joe, things that may be coming in this Felm game. It might bring in some stand-togethers. Probably a solid idea. Scorpion Wasp is kind of questionable with all the instant speed removal floating around, but could also be necessary for him to be able to handle some of those bigger units like Champion of Cunning and the 8-5. Well, when they get buffed to 8-5 anyway, the 8-5 Bloodcasters. Bloodcaster's a hard unit for Combry to deal with anyway sometimes. It's just got a really solid stat line for a 3-drop.
Starting off here, we see Bobbert is time screwed with two double time cards in his hand, so this is not starting out well for Always Lucky.
Yeah, we see Fun Wizard with that Vars favor right there to pick up a Shadow Sigil. Bobbert Joe over here with a very slow start looking for a time. And we see a Sabotage get fired off with 3 very good targets for it. And indeed, Fun Wizard will elect to take one of the obelisks. Curious if he has another Sabotage to fire off.
We see Bobbert finally picking up his second time, so next turn he will most likely drop that Sandstorm Titan. Or
Yeah, Bobber was his choice here. With the Fun Wizard holding up 4 power, he may feel that he's playing the Sandstorm Titan into a Death Strike or an Annihilate type effect. And there was a pause at the end of Fun Wizard's turn, and he didn't draw cards, so probably the right decision to play around the Death Strike there.
I also think Bobbert's probably going to be holding off on that scouting party until he gets up to the 8 power to give them +3/+3, so he has to commit at least 2 Lightning Storms or a Witch plus Lightning Storm to remove it.
Yeah, very true. That is an important thing for Shimmer Pack players and Shimmering Combry players to note is that you do not want to get blown out by these Feln decks with the Lightning Storm. So you often hold your scouting party past turn 6 until you can make sure they come out as 3/3s and are therefore not as susceptible to the Lightning Storm.
Yeah, we saw the Death Strike end of turn, which you predicted he had. And here we see a Staff of Stories that is going to get some value.
Ooh, and we see this Withering Witch come down here to actually reduce this to a 2/1. This is pretty interesting because we had just talked about the scouting party and the extra power making them 3/3s, which makes me curious as to if Fun Wizard has a Lightning Storm anywhere or if he has another copy of Witch somewhere.
If he has another copy of Witch plus Storm, that's a very good bait to get out that scouting party that he already knew was in hand. But it looks like since he's starting off with a Suffocate, he's not have the combo.
Yeah, unfortunately, no combo, but double suffocate on 2 of the tokens, and he can still block at least one more. Fun Wizard could have a lot of things here to play on 5 power, and indeed, we do see a Champion of Cunning come down and buff up the Withering Witch. This is actually really nasty for Bobbert Joe now. He can get this crystallized down and force in some draws, which will be good for him, but board is starting to look a little bit against him. Martial Ironthorn helping out quite a bit, though.
Well, right now, Bobbert is 2 damage off lethal, so a Shimmer Pack next turn would be game in favor of Bobbert.
Yeah, this is true. Black Sky Harbinger on the way back. This is really good. This is going to give Fun Wizard some life back, and also getting this buffed up to a 5/5 is pretty big. It will be permafrosted here, and we will see a lot of damage get pushed. This is 16 damage, I believe. So Fun Wizard falling down to 7 here against a board that's very scary, given that he's already played out his Withering Witch Black Sky Harbinger combo.
And Bobbert's slowly creeping up to that Martial Ironthorn ultimate, even if Fun Wizard does manage to not die next turn. So that Martial Ironthorn is going to demand an answer.
Yeah, very true. And these Seraphs hanging around are also a little bit scary for him. Ooh, see one Lightning Storm coming off just to clear off one single token. And we also see an Annihilate out to take care of the Martial Ironthorn. And wow, we might actually see these Seraphs get traded off here. And the Bloodcaster can also pick up one. Yeah, this is unfortunately not enough, though. I think Fun Wizard, I think either I missed that or Fun Wizard missed that he couldn't stop lethal.
Yeah, Fun Wizard had to block the second Seraph with his Film Bloodcaster to go to 1.
He must have miscalculated the overwhelm damage. So always an important thing to note on those Seraphs. They are such deadly units, not just because of their power as a 3-drop and into the later game, but also due to their ability to overwhelm units when they get buffed up.
And here we are, starting off game 3. Pretty good hand for Bobbert here.
Yeah, game 3, players tied 1 apiece. Bobbert's hand looking pretty good, although the Sabotage is going to pick apart that Obelisk and kind of slow Bobbert down a little bit. Desert Marshal, not the best 2-drop when you're trying to get aggressive. But, whoa, and Fun Wizard...
That must have been a misclick.
Ooh, yeah, and Fun Wizard having a huge misclick there, firing off a Storm for no value. That's super unfortunate to see out of him. We'll see if he can recover from that. Bobbert Joe getting a Temple Scribe into play to pick up another draw. Little light on power, though. Going to need to draw some power to actually be able to round out into this scouting party and hopefully Shimmer Pack later.
I would assume that he was trying to Vara's favor there and misclicked, or just trying to end turn.
Yeah, might have just accidentally snap played his draw for the turn. Sometimes can happen. Unfortunate either way, but we do see Fun Wizard being able to lock down this board against Bobbert currently, though that was a huge Amber Acolyte to pick up since Bobbert really needs to keep power. Like he needs to keep rolling with his power.
I think we're gonna see a crystallize next turn, just getting for the beats.
Yeah, and I think you're correct here. I think Bobbert realizing that Withering Witch coming down this board is be existing very much longer, and he needs to push for it. Though it is possible Fun Wizard doesn't have something to finish this up with. And indeed, we see the Vars favor being played on a Seraph. So unlikely that there is a Lightning Storm floating around. And that's really punishing from Fun Wizard, since we do know he had the Lightning Storm in his opening hand, just accidentally misplayed it on turn 2.
Yeah, well now he does have something to stop that Lightning Storm if it gets drawn off the top, but with these units getting unstunned and being able to block, this is going to be a tough one for Bobbert.
Yeah, I think on Bobbert's turn, I might have liked him getting the Sandstorms heightened down there, but this will work out interestingly. Fun Wizard going to search up something with the Celestial Omen for the beginning of his turn. Wonder what he wants to pull out. If he has an 8 power.
Oh,
Oh, Azendel's gift. This is huge, actually. Yeah, this is going to force this stand together. And now Bobber Joe's going to be very reliant on his top decks from here on out.
Yeah, I was gonna say he would have gotten a Black Sky Harbinger, but that's very good.
Yeah, this is going to force him to discard this whole hand. That Find the Way, unfortunately, not being helpful, particularly since the power would have just been discarded anyway. And we see that Azendel's gift putting in some work. Fun Wizard really just needs to find an answer to this Sandstorm Titan, and he can easily stabilize this board.
Yeah, that was a really good tech card from Fun Wizard. I believe that's a one of in his sideboard.
Yeah, I believe it is as well. Some players play it in the main. Definitely for tournaments sometimes, since they expect a lot of control to be floating around.
It does look like he has a one of in the main board as well as that one of Celestial Omen.
Yeah, so using Celestial Omen to dig it out, and we actually see. Oh man, this might have just been the game swing right there. Bobber Joe trying to push for lethal damage, gets his Sandstorm Titan annihilated and gets some bad trades. Only pushes Fun Wizard down to 6. Snow Crushed Animus coming in to clean up the board, and all of a sudden, Fun Wizard is completely in the driver's seat, and Bobber Joe is looking for something to get him back into this game.
You know, that might have been what Fun Wizard actually got off the Omen, and he just had the Azendel's gift in hand.
Yeah, this is very true. Unfortunately, without being able to see the hand cam, we're not really sure what he fished up with that Celestial Omen, but he has officially broken Bobber Joe's back. He is going to need come up with something, and Scorpion Wasp is not it. So we see Fun Wizard, even with that slight misplay at the beginning of the game, still being able to bring it back with the power of Felm Control. And excellently played match out of him there. It's very impressive.
Yeah, very well played. Even with that misplay at the beginning, as you mentioned, that might have been screaming to his teammates in their call or at their house, but looks like it worked out anyways.
Yeah, did not seem to stop him. Seems like he was able to come up with that game win quite easily, and that was 3 games, I do believe. So
It was.
we will be waiting on the results of the rest of the game. Do we have any updates from the production booth? Okay, well we will. Oh, do they have? Oh, these are best of 5s. Ah, we have best 5. So my apology. We actually will not be. Yeah, Bobber Joe is down 1-2 to the Fun Wizard. So Fun Wizard trying to crack back and get his 3-game win in. Bobber Joe going to be trying to figure out how he can get in to the winners finals off the back of this win. It's going to take him 2 games here.
And this is
grand finals,
not the hand you want to see when you're up against the wall.
Yeah, not particularly. Bobber Joe power screwed here, and Fun Wizard playing that VAR's favor. We know he's going to be solid on power, just trying to draw out and play this late game control plan. And when you are control, this is exactly what you would want to see.
Finally picking up that next sigil. Maybe he'll get another one. Nope.
Yeah, and this is unfortunate for Bobber Joe. I think, unfortunately, with us calling the series over, we may have called it too quickly. Bobber Joe, yeah, just picking up another thing. At least he was able to get the Seraph down, and he's got the Seraphs to play now, and the Scorpion Wasp stand together. He's got a lot of utility in his hand, like a lot of units and things he can get down. But it'll really come down to how far ahead Fun Wizard could get. But we also see Fun Wizard actually stuck on power here, having to discard cards.
Yeah, if Bobber manages to draw like 3 power in a row to curve into Sandstorm Titan Marshall, or Sandstorm Titan Marshall Ironthorn power, then he can have 8 power and play double Xenon Obelisk, but seems like it's not happening considering these draws.
Yeah, and this is interesting out of Fun Wizard. If he tries to fire off a Lightning Storm here, this is going to get shut down by this stand together. So he's going to need to have to come up with a second Lightning Storm to actually clear off both these Seraphs. And not going to have one, or not going to be willing to play it.
Yeah, there we see Fun Wizard does have a 3-mana fast spell in his hand. Maybe a Wisdom of Elders he's choosing not to fire off in fear of overdrawing again.
Yeah, this is a tricky spot for Bobber Joe. He's still very light on power, but he's finally starting to draw into things that can help him take this game over. And getting those Seraphs out of the Lightning Storm range is actually pretty big here.
Yeah, there we see the Annihilate coming down on his flyer.
Yeah, and
Both his Seraphs going down.
very quick blocks out of Fun Wizard. Already had accounted for the Seraphs, knew where they were going, so he's managed to deal with those. Though he did spend an Annihilate on a Scorpion Wasp, which is interesting since we see Bobber Joe has the Martial Ironthorn and the 2 Sandstorm Titans floating around in his hand to play.
Yeah, hopefully, Fun Wizard gets his sigil or influence requirements for this Champion of Cunning, because right now it can get answered by pretty much anything.
Yeah, that's going to be what determines whether or not Fun Wizard can really start to take over this game again. He was already in what seemed like a lead, but falling a bit behind on power, and Bobber Joe having a window to catch up has made it so that Fun Wizard's kind of in an awkward place here. And I think he missed a power drop that turn, so no influence requirements getting pushed for him.
Here we see Bobbert picking up his 6 power, 1 more power to turn on the obelisks, assuming he goes Ironthorn power. Oh.
Who we see another Azendal's gift come down. And this has been Fun Wizard's trick both games. Like we see these massive units down here for Bobber Joe, and he probably will get a card draw, but this is going to be the extent of his hand.
I think I liked letting Bobbert draw more cards than drawing 1 to get rid of potentially more answers in his deck, since like 9 out of 10 times he would not be able to play the cards he drew.
Yeah, very true. He would have had to have discarded his cards. He also could have reduced a damage by trading the 5/5 into the 4/4. That might have worked out better, though. It's an interesting call. It would have also removed the idea that Bobber Joe now actually has draw steps on his turn, in a sense, if he can find a way to get the undrawn Yetis through. And he is just drawing towards that second obelisk to go ahead and try and power these units up. But see the Black Sky Harbinger coming down for Fun Wizard and Snow Crushed Animus again. That will Bobber Joe alive at 1. Going to need a miracle of a top deck here. And unfortunately, that is not going to be it. So Fun Wizard will be taking the series 3-1 here, firing an Annihilate off in the Locust just to make sure he's got the game locked up. Bobber Joe going ahead and conceding, realizing that this game is over.
Yeah, that Snow Crush Animus coming in clutch both post-sideboard games, sealing the deal even if it was just a win more card.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see, unfortunately, Bobber Joe losing the series there, 3-1, going down against that Felm control. And we have been seeing decent results out of Felm all day. I'm a huge fan of the Felm control. I like that Fun Wizard put the twist on it that we've seen Rhino pick up in the Invitationals, where he adds in the Champion of Cunning for extra threats. That card has been super clutch.
Yeah, it's been overperforming all day, taking games on its own, as we saw in game 3, just buffing up his Felm Broodcasters and even his Talir's Favored O2 up to an 8-2.
Yeah, just absolutely incredible stuff there out of Fun Wizard. Very good games all around. Phone Control impressing once again. Phone Control always impressing in the best of 3 and best of 5 formats, where they have access to that sideboard and cutting out more of their situational removal and adding in extra threats and extra answers to whatever package you are bringing. They kind of tailor their answers to it, and that's really the power of the sideboard for a deck like Film Control.
Yeah, and we saw that sideboard coming in very well with that Snow Crush Animist in game 3 to seal the deal.
Yeah, Snow Crush Animist, a huge card. Rhino's brought it before, always liked it against those Combri lists, or the Shimmering Combri lists, rather, and the Shimmer Pack list, since it is very good at just picking off the tokens like we saw in games 3 and 4.
As well as those sabotages on the early turns in game 3, discarding his Xenon Obelisk, which was his only action card in his hand. Very game-defining.
Yeah, very game-defining indeed. Sabotage, an excellent card in certain matchups, definitely finds its home against a deck like this, where they have a lot of relics and a lot of spells that they're trying to fire off for high impact with those scouting parties and the Xenon Obelisks. But that is going to do it for the Winners Bracket Finals for now. We will hopefully be getting you the results of the Winners Bracket Finals very shortly, so we can move on. Our next